Hello everyone, welcome. Special shout out to my subs, you know who you are. I put together a guide based on my first 80 hours of playing Hades, so let's get right into it. Alright guys, going to talk quickly about resource priority. This is kind of linked to the whole trading thing. You can see that ambrosias, diamonds and titan bloods, they're like the top tier materials in this game. You don't really want to trade them for anything else. You want to try and get as many of them as you can. Especially titan blood, you'll use a lot of that. And then you've got like your darkness, your nectar, and your keys and your gems. Now nectar is really important at the start, but it kind of falls off. Okay guys, we're going to talk quickly about the trader. Now, most of the deals are pretty bad. It really depends where you are in the game, but most of the time the deals are not worth doing, but sometimes there will be these limited time offers that is one time per escape attempt, and they're worth checking out because sometimes you can get a really good deal on some rare things, like say Titan Blood. That's a thing you need a lot of. It's quite rare, and sometimes you can get it for really, really cheap. Of materials that are not so important, like something like gems or something. Okay guys, now we're going to talk a little bit about the rooms in Hades and which ones you should choose to get further in your runs. Now, pretty much the undisputed best one would be the Daedalus Hammer. It's very powerful as it upgrades your attacks on your weapon in some way or another. You can also only achieve these normally twice per run, one time in Elysium, like here, and one time near the start of Tartarus at the start. Now the tier below this would be probably the Gourd Boons. They vary quite a lot in power, depending on which Gourd you choose. Personally, I like the Hermes Boons a lot, because, you know, make you run pretty fast and pretty nimble. But they all are very good in their own right. It just depends on what weapon you're using and what kind of build you're going for. I then like to go for the health rooms. I like to aim for around 200-250 health, and usually these rooms can be buffed even to get more than 25 health per room, which is really good. Then gold rooms. As gold rooms, you basically can just buy whatever you like from Charon, and it's very powerful to do that. And then the last rooms are just the ones that permanently upgrade something about your character that don't help you in the run. Maybe that's more important to you than getting far in a run, is just upgrading the strength of your character in general. But I would label it as like darkness, then gems, then keys, as they're not very, as the keys are very useless later into the game, but are pretty useful at the start. Okay guys, we're going to talk a little bit about which gods have the best boons and which ones you should choose if you have the choice between different gods. Now, it's very highly dependent on which build you're going, but I've got a kind of a general list of which ones are better than others. On the top of the list, Hermes and Artemis are the top tier because they are flexible enough to work with pretty much any build, and they are just they have the most powerful boons of any of them. Between the crit, movement speed as damage, all this really fast clear is really good. The next tier down would be Aphrodite and Zeus. Now Aphrodite has some really good base damage stats for her boons, so you can get a lot of damage through her, and also the charm is pretty strong as well when you're clearing through. Zeus he can salvage a really bad run. If you're really lacking damage, you can go with Zeus, and he can turn things around for you really quickly, because his skills give a really nice amount of damage, and some of the weapon aspects make Zeus very broken. Something like the shield, very powerful with Zeus. The next tier would be Athena, Demeter, and Dionysus. Now Athena's got very good defensive boons. She's got some others that are really not so good. But on the whole, they're pretty good defensive ones if you're looking for those. Demeter's got also quite defensive boons in a way, through slowing the enemies around you, through doing certain things. They're pretty good. You could honestly have a whole build with the cast where she spawns the turrets and you just run around dodging everything. It's doable. Not great, but doable. And then Dionysus. He's got some really solid ones. He's also got some kind of dodgy ones. It's just the drunken effect is sometimes hard to clear fast with, but it can also salvage a bad run as well, because it gives you at least something to play around. The next would be Ares. He's got some really good boons. He's got some more damage multipliers on some of his boons, which make you do quite like more damage instead of just added. Instead of like multiplicative damage. So it's quite nice. Then the last here would be Poseidon. He's at the bottom because the pushback is not very useful against bosses. It also means that it pushes enemies away from you, which makes it harder to do damage to them. It's just a bit underwhelming unless you get a really good combo with him. But you kind of put into an awkward spot if you don't get the right boons with him, and you just become worse than before. There are many different ones, and you obtain keepsakes by giving a nectar to a god or a special character in the game. And they have varying effects. Some of them are really good, some of them are not so good. Really depends on like what you need at the time, because you get to always choose to change one at the end of each level. Something like the Lucky Tooth from Skelly is really good because it gives you an extra life and gives you an extra 100 HP when you revive. So yeah, really good. Once you get your companions up to full hearts, well, not really full hearts, but up to the next level of hearts, you get a keepsake from them sometimes, and they're pretty useful. They'll assist you in a hard level. You can level them up to use them more often, or they do more damage, depending on what they are. But they're pretty helpful, especially when you're doing higher heat runs, but not too important for early game. You don't really need to use them at all, but keepsakes are pretty important to use properly. And say, for example, you're really needing some crit in your build, you can just use Artemis's keepsake and you'll find Artemis next time you find a boon. So really powerful, and you can find a really top tier boon like when you can obtain a boon next, which is really good. Alright guys, now we're going to talk a little bit about fishing in Hades. So fishing in Hades can be a little bit difficult at times, but if you're looking to get some extra resources, or you're looking to complete the game fully, this is how you can capture those super rare fish a little bit easier. So when you're fishing, the bobber bobs up to 4 times, and you have to press E again to reel in the fish 0.5 seconds after it gets brought down. It can also be caught on any one of the 4 bobs. The little trick is, if it does go to the 4th bob, you know it's going to happen then, so you can preemptively press E again, or you can just try and be really fast if it's on one of the other bobs. So we're going to try it here to try and get a perfect catch, because that's how we can get those super rare fish, which are the ones that are, really nice and hard to get.
Sure, why not?
Alright, 1 bob, 2 bobs, 3 bobs, gonna be a 4th, Alright. And we got a perfect catch. And I think that's a super rare one, so... Okay, and one of the final parts would be weapon aspects. How do they work? How do you unlock them? You unlock them pretty much just from playing the game. Eventually there'll be some dialogue you'll get from some characters that unlock some of the hidden aspects. But mainly you just need Titan Blood is the main resource you'll use to upgrade these. And you'll get them from killing any of the Fury Sisters and the final boss. It changes the art of the weapon as well, which is really cool, and it changes its effect. So you have like your normal shield, which is, you know, pretty good, where you chuck it and it bounces around. Something like this, the Aspect of Zeus, which I recommend is like really good for another one to get. It puts like this little spinning disc on the unit that you can like push out and pull back towards you. Something like that's really powerful. Also, if you like using the bow, the Aspect of Chiron is really powerful as well, because you can combo a lot of really cool boons to make it really good, like crit or some on-hit effect, like Dionysus's Drunken Haze or something. It's really good. And now we have a quick spoiler warning for key fights in the game. Okay, now onto the Theseus fight. Now this one's really tricky, especially for beginners, but I'll just break it down a little bit for you so you'll find it a bit easier. You just want to focus the Minotaur first, and then focus Theseus. Do not get them both to half HP at the same time, because they get a boost when they get half HP, so it'll just make the fight like really difficult. Use the objects in the arena to block the tracking spear from Theseus, and also the charge from the Minotaur. When he runs into one of the pots, he stops. So yeah, just focus on dodging Theseus, kill the Minotaur, and then focus the... Okay, a bit of bounce, and now let's roll. So the first thing we want to do is actually clear the arena with all these pillars. So he's got a few different attacks. He's got spin. He's got those skulls that explode up us every time he throws out. They're a bit of a pain. The big issue is that spin attack. So you just want to attack a little bit and then back out, because it's got such a long AoE. And there goes that, you chuck it out, it's a dodge. Now you don't have to kill the skulls, but it does make it a lot easier for you later on. Because yeah, they are dodgeable and they explode, but and also if they're on that side of the arena, you just run on the other side and explode and they won't reach you. Okay, so in the first phase there's a couple of points. There's 2 points where he'll spawn some minions, which is good to get rid of. Because they're adrenaline, especially the grabbers. I'll just get rid of these skulls here. And we just want to keep fighting them. You don't want to do anything too fancy, don't want to overcommit to anything. You just watch what he's doing, and then you dash out the way. It is very useful to upgrade movement speed and the amount of times you can dash as well. Both of those are movement speeds. Okay, so we just got hit by a skull. It's kind of bad, so we're just going to put it out over here. Side of the arena, go the other side. You can dash over those waves, but they do a lot of damage if you use time. Yeah, the ads of the thing do make this fight a little bit more difficult. Okay, so they're all dead. So now we can just get past him. skulls and annoying spots. Can't worry about the other one. Okay, and that's the first phase. That one is not too bad. This next phase is a bit more difficult though. So he'll move a lot faster, he'll attack a lot faster, it's a lot harder to know what he's actually going to do. And these vases are... So when he charges his laser beam, you want to hide behind these two pillars here. It's also, you have to be careful for the big explosions, because they obviously go behind the pillars. And if they blow up a vase next to you, you're going to get stunned. And he can combo a lot of damage on top of you instead. And, like just now. And yeah, like I would have, it's just off there. So there's weight one around here. There's that. Get some free damage off. Yeah, so you have to be kind of patient with this phase. You can use the lasers. Mistake. You can use the lasers to blow up some of the things if you have some room. So we're just using the laser to blow up the bases. It's my last chance. We can also just dodge side to side here, and we can do a lot of damage that way too. And thank you very much for staying till the end of the video. If you could leave a like if you enjoyed the content, drop a sub if you're interested in some more videos, and yeah, comment if you have any questions to do with Hades, and I can try my best to answer them. Catch you next time. Bye.